It all started a week ago. I was super hungry, but my mom was gone, so I busted out the George Foreman. It wasn't making the cool grill marks it used to after I tried to use it to dry my shoes, but when it comes to grilled cheese, I'm not that fancy. And when I pulled the sandwich out, I saw the face of God. Literally, I had made a grilled Cheesus.
I'm so hungry.
I'm not the most religious guy. I sort of worship Eric Clapton and Ocho Cinco, but this was different. So I decided to see what it felt like to, pray.
Dear grilled cheeses, first of all, you're super delicious. Please, grilled cheeses, please let us win our first football game. It would mean so much to Artie, and I think you kind of owe it to him. I mean, you did sort of screw him in the leg department. And in return, Cheesy Lord, I'll make sure we honor you this week in Glee Club.
Mr. Shue?
I have something to say. Something happened to me, and I can't really get into it, but it's shaken me to my core.
Oh my God, he's coming out.
Why, yes. There is a man who's sort of recently come into my life, and that man is Jesus Christ.
That's way worse.
And I know there's others in here who dig him too. And so I thought maybe this week we could pay tribute to him in music. Pay tribute to Jesus.
Sorry, but if I wanted to sing about Jesus, I'd go to church. And the reason I don't go to church is because most churches don't think very much of gay people. Or women. Or science.
I don't see anything wrong with getting a little church up in here.
I agree. I've had a really hard year, and I turned to God a lot for help. I, for one, wouldn't mind saying thanks.
Thanks for what? That it didn't come out a lizard baby?
Whenever I pray, I fall asleep.
Well, guys, maybe our song selections don't have to be about Jesus. We could do songs about spirituality.
You got a problem with Jesus?
Oh, I got no problem with the guy. I'm a total Jew for Jesus. He's my #1 heap. What I don't like seeing is people using J money to cramp everybody else's style. Because it seems to me that true spirituality, or whatever you want to call it, is about enjoying the life that you've been given. I mean, I see God every time I make out.
What up, grilled cheeses? I need to ask you for something. I didn't go to Sunday school, so I don't know if God works the same as a genie and I only get 3 wishes, but here's the thing. Dating Rachel is great, but she's kind of a prude, and I'm sort of going crazy. Anyway, her boobs aren't that great, but they're still girl boobs, and I'd really like to touch them. So, Jesus, considering that I've dedicated a week of my musical life to you, I hope you can see it in your heart to answer my prayers. Amen.
I don't believe in God.
Wait, what?
You've all professed your beliefs, I'm just stating mine. I think God is kind of like Santa Claus for adults. Otherwise, God's kind of a jerk, isn't he? I mean, he makes me gay and then has his followers going around telling me it's something that I chose, as if someone would choose to be mocked every single day of their life. And right now, I don't want a heavenly father. I want my real one back.
But Kurt, how do you know for sure? I mean, you can't prove that there's no God.
You can't prove that there isn't a magic teapot floating around on the dark side of the moon with a dwarf inside of it that reads romance novels and shoots lightning out of its boobs, but it seems pretty unlikely, doesn't it?
Is God an evil dwarf? We shouldn't be talking like this. It's not right.
I'm sorry, Quinn. But you all can believe whatever you want to. But I can't believe something I don't. I appreciate your thoughts. But I don't want your prayers.
How did you even find out about the lesson?
I have cameras everywhere, William.
I'm giving a lesson on spirituality. I don't understand what the big deal is.
Well, the big deal is that this is a public school, and there's this little thing called separation of church and state, which happens to be the pillar of a functioning civil society.
So, children should be allowed to profess whatever faith they choose.
At the BET Awards, but not in a public school.
Sue, I'm trying to help these kids. Kurt is struggling with some really tough issues.
Well, William, if your kids want to praise Jesus in class, I suggest they enroll at Sweet Holy Mother of God Academy on I Love Jesus Street, but not here. This country is not a monarchy, William. Trust me, I've tried. And as much as I enjoy giving impromptu civics lessons, I got work to do.
I want my children to be raised in the Jewish faith. Both of my dad's peoples were slaves once. I need to know that my children will be free to worship in the way that I decide is right.
Sure. Of course. Yeah, they should totally go to Jew church and wear those hats and eat that salty orange stuff with their bagels.
What happened to you, Sue? Please tell me, what horrible, horrible thing happened to you that made you such a miserable tyrant?
Have a seat. Since I was a little girl, I've had exactly one hero. My big sister. You know how much I worshipped her? She was the sun and the moon to me. While I was still very young, I noticed that other people didn't feel the way I did. People were rude to her. They were cruel. They laughed at her. And so I began to pray. I prayed every night for her to get better. And nothing changed. So I prayed harder. And after a while, I realized it wasn't that I wasn't praying hard enough. It's that no one was listening. Asking someone to believe in a fantasy, however comforting, isn't a moral thing to do. It's cruel.
Don't you think that's just a little bit arrogant?
It's as arrogant as telling someone how to believe in God, and if they don't accept it, no matter how open-hearted or honest their dissent, they're going to hell? Well, that doesn't sound very Christian, does it?
Well, if that's what you believe, that's fine. But please keep it to yourself.
So long as you do the same.
God works in all kinds of mysterious ways. But I'm pretty sure he doesn't spend a lot of time trying to speak to us through sandwiches. You look disappointed.
I am. It was sort of cool feeling like I had this direct line to God. And I just feel like everybody else. You know, like we're all just floating around in space. Don't like that.
You're not alone. The big questions are really big for a reason. They're hard. But you know what? Absolutely everybody struggles with them.
Do you believe in God, Janie?
Do you?
No, I don't.
Why not?
Because when we were little girls, you were perfect in my eyes. And I watched the world be cruel to you, so...
God never makes mistakes. That's what I believe. You want me to pray for you, Sue?
Yeah, that would be nice.